What is going on, everybody? And I hope you're enjoying your Friday morning so far. This is NYG Jeffy T 85, and I'm just here to talk about what recently just went down with StephenASmith, and that is the Ben Simmons side of the story, where Ben Simmons pretty much explains everything that happened to him this past offseason, including why he didn't participate in that Game 4 game against the Boston Celtics this past June in the playoffs, why Ben Simmons also had to get surgery on his back, what happened with him when it comes to three-point shooting, and also what his outlook is for the Brooklyn Nets going into this season, the 2022-2023 NBA season. Ben Simmons is obviously a guy that has a ton of talent. Anybody that knows, Ben Simmons is one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, and he's a guy that has the length and the size, to be able to go out there and try to defend against any other player when it comes to being a 1, 2, 3, whatever the position is. He can guard the point, he can guard the forwards, he can even take his chances against the center of the opposing team. He just has that incredible skill set with a good size as well as being good lateral movements to try to make sure he takes the other player's best player out of the game. That's what Ben Simmons' strength is when it comes to his overall game on the NBA court, is his defensive prowess, as well as being a guy that's going to be able to get the ball to his playmakers at any time. He's not the greatest shooter right now, but when it comes to his game overall, it comes down to he's the fact he's a great lateral defender. He's great on the outside on the wing. He can also shut down anybody that he goes against, and he's also great when it comes to getting the ball to his players. But obviously he's been going through a lot in the past year or so mentally, and that's the pretty much the reason why he's been out for the past year or so, trying to get himself together, as well as trying to deal with the back injury that he recently had surgery on a few months ago. Ben Simmons sat down with StephenASmith to do an interview on ESPN talking about what he's had to go through in terms of his struggles with his mental health, as well as when he had to deal with that Game 4 game where why he didn't come back in, the back injury, of course, why his three-point shooting really screwed him up mentally, and his outlook with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, starting with, his shooting woes. Ben Simmons really pretty much went into detail, and he just pretty much said it effed him up. That him not being able to hit those three-point shots consistently and him being able not to shoot consistently really did a toll on him mentally, and it effed him up personally. Just the fact that he couldn't go out there and be able to shoot consistently behind the line, as well as be able to shoot those jump shots at about 10 to 15 feet in terms of his range. And that obviously could do a lot on a guy like Ben Simmons, who he's always known as a great defensive player, but when it comes to his offensive game and his shooting, Ben Simmons right now just has a big time issue when it comes to his shooting overall, and why he can't be the type of player that a lot of people thought he could be when he was coming out of high school a few years ago. Ben Simmons has been working hard in the gym since he's come back from that back injury to try to work on his three-point shooting as well as his mid-range game to try to become more of a complete player for this Brooklyn Nets team going into the 2022-2023 season. And he told StephenASmith that he's been trying to work hard as much as possible to fix that part of his game. Now, in terms of the reason why he didn't participate in the Game 4 against the Boston Celtics this past May in the NBA playoffs, Ben Simmons pretty much went into detail and said that he was excited and he was getting ready to play in that game overall in Game 4. But then one time when he was at his home, he tried to go up the steps and then he tried to lay down a little bit to relax, and his back just flared up so bad that he could not even move on his bed, and he was pretty much just shut down. And then at that point, he's like, I can't do this. My back is just in such horrible shape. He's been dealing with back issues even back when he was playing in Philadelphia at the end of the 2021-2022 NBA season, and he never really got the problem corrected until eventually he got surgery back in late June, early July. So Ben Simmons pretty much went into detail saying that he had to deal with back injury and that he couldn't even move when he tried to go lay down at his own house after going up the steps. His back flared up that bad that he pretty much told the Nets staff that he couldn't play. And obviously that did a toll on Ben Simmons mentally because of the fact he was excited to be able to go out there and participate in that playoff game with his teammates in Game 4, which the Nets badly needed him because at that time they were down 3-0 in that NBA playoff series going forward. So Ben Simmons just pretty much said that really did a toll on him, and that his back was such bad shape that obviously he had to go out there and have surgery on it, and he's supposed to be ready for training camp this upcoming season. So hopefully Ben Simmons' back is going to be back in a good 100%. He's going to be able to go out there, he's going to be able to play to the level that we know Ben Simmons can play to when he's 100% healthy and he's 100% all right in terms of his mentality and going into this season for the Brooklyn Nets. Ben Simmons also pretty much went into detail about all the social media backlash and everything that went against him, and that people don't really know what's going on behind the scenes with Ben Simmons. We understand that, Ben. Nobody really does know what's going on with you in terms of, like, everything that's going on in your life. We don't have any idea. We're just fans. We're just frustrated because we want to see you get on the basketball court and do what we know you can do. Because really, everybody's been bashing Ben Simmons, but the guy is an incredibly talented player. That's a fact. He's a talented player. He's one of the best defensive players in basketball. He's a guy that can drive to the basket and try to get his own shot and try to pretty much pick up the fouls against the other team. He's also a guy that's very good when it comes to facilitating the ball to his teammates. He's just got to work on his shooting game, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Ben Simmons has got to work on his mid-range and his three-point shooting. And then when Ben Simmons real quickly talked about the Brooklyn Nets outlook for this 2022-2023 season, he pretty much called this team the 76ers on steroids. Pretty much saying that this Nets team has got a similar team like the Philadelphia 76ers, but even more talented, even more well-balanced, and he thinks that this team is just put together very well in terms of the puzzle pieces on this Brooklyn Nets basketball team, which I actually agree with, as well as a couple of my other fellow Nets fans, NYG22 and Big Fan Breezy, who also are very, very big Nets fans and cover the Brooklyn Nets. This Nets team, I agree with Ben Simmons on that one. The Nets team is much better put together, and Ben Simmons pretty much attributes that on why he believes this Nets team has a chance to go very far in this NBA playoffs and even possibly win an NBA championship this year because of the construction of this roster. And Ben Simmons believes his skill set perfectly fits in with what the Nets are looking for on this 2022-2023 NBA team. And he's looking to pretty much quell and shut up all those other haters out there that have said that Ben Simmons can't get it done with the Brooklyn Nets going forward. So look for Ben Simmons to come out as a more determined, as a more focused, and as a guy that's on a mission right now to prove to everybody and all the doubters out there that Ben Simmons can still get it done in the NBA and could still be a very, very good player and a top player in this league with a Brooklyn Nets team that is loaded with talent, that has two other superstars in Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, and that this team is on a mission right now to prove that they can be one of the top teams in the NBA and win an NBA championship in Brooklyn going forward. So Ben Simmons just pretty much spoke all of that stuff to StephenASmith of ESPN, pretty much saying that he wants to go out there, he wants to prove that he could still be a top player in this league. He had to deal with a lot going back into Philly, although he has praised Philadelphia in the past for being still one of great cities out there, still being a very, very heartfelt, as well as a very, very vocal, and yet very, very honest city over there. And he praises them for that. He still praises the 76ers for what they've done for his career before he obviously dealt with the issues the past couple of years in Philadelphia and then asked for that trade to get out of there last year. And Ben Simmons pretty much went into detail about his back injury as well as his outlook for this Brooklyn Nets team going forward. So that's all I want to give you guys about Ben Simmons, his sit-down interview with StephenASmith, and what his outlook is for the 2022-2023 Brooklyn Nets team going into this upcoming season. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button below. Sub up if you haven't already to NYGJeffyT85 for more breaking news, updates, and chatter surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short that's going to be dropping on the channel surrounding the Brooklyn Nets. And let me know in the comments section if you've heard what you guys think about Ben Simmons, his sit-down interview with StephenASmith. If there's other things that I haven't explained in the video that you would like to throw in the comments section about other things Ben Simmons said in that sit-down interview, please do that. Let me know in the comment section what you feel about his interview with StephenASmith, and if you think that Ben Simmons is going to come out a more determined, a more focused, a more ready-made, and a guy that wants to go out there and prove to all the critics and all the naysayers that he could still be a top player in this NBA, in the NBA, and he can go out there and help bring this Brooklyn Nets team a trophy back to New York City and back to Brooklyn for this team going forward. So everybody have a fantastic Friday. Enjoy your weekend as well. Take it easy, and let's go Brooklyn Nets. And always remember, this is a Nets world, baby, and all you know is you just live in this Nets world that we're in.